But maybe we'll hear it from somebody who's on the inside.
What exactly is the Brotherhood?
Simply put, the Brotherhood is a guild of assassins. We accept only the most talented killers from every nation. When governments cannot eliminate a target, they come to us. For an incredibly outrageous fee, they receive our assurance that the target will die. The Brotherhood recruits from both races and operates in all of the realms in times of war and peace. It's hard to say when we're busier. The contracts we enter into during peaceful times are equally numerous, though more covert.
Both races, so they don't have any dwarven assassins? They receive our assurance that the target will die eventually, maybe from old age. Yes. That's their failsafe.
Why are you called Hugh the Hand?
Because of my rank in the Brotherhood. An initiate starts out as the sheath. Later he becomes the tip, the blade, the crosspiece, the hilt, and eventually the hand. Only one rank is higher than mine, and that is the arm. Chang currently holds that position, and she has held it for many, many years.
Chang, is there only one arm? Should we express skepticism about the morality of this?
Wait a second. There's quite a difference between robbery and murder.
Yes, but they do tend to go hand in hand. I'd be surprised if you were able to lift those artifacts without causing a few deaths.
Doug Cho Chang, exactly.
If you accept only the most talented assassins, why do you want me? Aren't I unproven?
That's very true. I did not say that I was inviting you to join. That comes later. I only asked you if you were interested. Are you?
Alrighty. Let's do it.
Of course I'm interested. What low-life cutthroat wouldn't be?
Very good. Now you are still very unproven. The theft of the dwarven artifacts was enough to draw my eye, but you're not blooded. I'm going to require a contract before I can apprentice you.
A contract?
A contract? I don't know. This sounds dangerous.
Dangerous? Of course. That's what we do. You shouldn't have agreed if you weren't prepared to follow through.
Okay, fine.
Who's the target?
There is a merchant who lives on the edge of town. He has angered the Brotherhood. He's overstepped his authority and must be eliminated in order to set an example for the rest of his kind. Do you understand?
Well, it seems possible that that house we visited was his house. But I suppose we can confirm that.
Where can I find him?
His house is not hard to find. It is the most expensive house in town. Follow the road to the southeast. You'll come across it soon.
Do you have any information about this man?
Certainly. Most importantly, you should know that he wears an amulet. It is magic and protects him from all harm. Also, you should know that he knows that the Brotherhood is out to eliminate him. We've already tried once unsuccessfully. Since then, he's taken some precautions. He's had the front door reinforced and the lock changed as well. We believe that he's currently holed up there in the house.
So he's just cowering inside because he knows that there's a price on his head?
A magic amulet that protects him from harm? Won't that make killing him rather difficult?
Yes. The fact that he is never without it might hamper you as well. Consider this a true test of your skills.
Yes, I suppose so. Lexi, I wonder if he was chosen to be the Hand, partially because his name fits so well with the title. Yeah, maybe. It's probably like 50% of it. Doug, their other members include Keith the Sheath, Skip the Tip, Taft the Shaft, Moss Geese the Crosspiece, etc. The most important part is the miscellany.
If he lives in such a fortress, how do you expect me to get inside?
Isn't that what you do? Break in. I'm sure you've had more difficult jobs than this.
Fine. Holy heck. Gosh, we can't do everything, can we? Maybe we can. This is what we have. We can. All right, Hugh. We can do it.
Anything else I should know about this merchant?
There are rumors that he keeps a secret journal. I'm not sure how that would help you since I'm asking you to kill him, not investigate him.
Thanks for the help, dude.
All right, let's get on with this.
Very well. Will there be anything else before you leave?
What an interesting question.
What should I do after I finish the job?
I will require proof that you have eliminated him. Since he's said that he would die before being separated from his amulet, I believe that that will suffice. When you have finished, bring the amulet here to me. That should be enough.
This sounds pretty serious. Why haven't you taken care of him before? Why ask me?
We sent a man out. He didn't come back. If you succeed, then you have earned a place in the Brotherhood. If you fail, then we haven't lost another man. It is as simple as that.
Get that kid to beat him over the head with a pry bar and snatch the amulet. There, I've solved the puzzle. Wow, that's brilliant.
All right, I'm on the job.
Very good. Remember, when you have finished, bring back his amulet. That will be proof enough of his death. Please, don't insult me by running away. It would be such a bother to track you down and kill you.
Oh my god, we're in this deep now. Yeah. But we have money. That's all that matters, right? The pile includes coins of both elven and human origin. You figure that the barkeep didn't make this kind of money tending bar. Alright, let's pay the kid off.
With this money, I can get the items we need.
Wow, it actually went as he expected? As I expected? As we expected? Before you can say a word, the street rat grabs your pile of cash and runs out. He's gone forever. Well, heck. Return, Steve, return. And he's gone. Alright. I don't think we're in a corner yet, so let's save again. Amulet test. Yes, yes! Amulet test. Did we ever look at the sign? The sign hangs over the tavern's only door. It reads the Devil's Workshop. Yes, of course. Alright. This should be pretty easy, Isha. We'll just, use a crowbar. No, we can't use the pry bar. The merchant's door is over here. Oh, I see. Going east is going into the house through the door, because this is the merchant's house, which we didn't know before, but the game was happy to tell us anyway. Hooray! Okay, how do we get in? Jug? Other jug? House, lock, door. Although it may not be obvious, these windows have bars in them. Sturdy metal bars. The kind that say, just try and get through me. Needless to say, you can't. Alright, let's look at our magical arsenal, shall we? None of the spells that you know will have any significant effect on the house. I wasn't trying to cast magic on the house. Let's look at our spells. Okay, create reality pocket. Not really. Create shroud of darkness. No. Swap, only if we can touch someone. Motion. We tried it on the statues, but that didn't work. We can transfer runes onto things. And then we have heat and cold and identify, which only works on magical things. Does it work on us? You are a patron with an immense natural talent for magic. Only your lack of knowledge limits you. Well, thank you. So, if the statues are magic, then we'll be able to use identify on them. If not, they will not react. You cast the identify spell on the statue, but nothing happens. Evidently, the statue isn't magical. Okay, well, we have quite a bit of stuff here now. It has the rune of Arianis on it. Alright. Well... Oh, we're reconnecting again to Twitch. I think we might be okay now. Thankfully, the pre-release version of OBS I'm using does automatically reconnect, so it's not going to be so bad if that happens again, I hope. And these appear to be much more temporary disconnections. Okay.
Where have you been? I've been waiting for you. Look, I got them both. The information and the lockpick.
How much did it all cost?
As I suspected. It cost everything I had. Sorry there's no change.
He smiles innocently and shrugs.
Tell me about this lockpick.
It's custom. There's never been another made like it. Look at it. The lockpick has been designed to open any type of lock, no matter how complex.
Well, that could be useful. You take the bizarre instrument from the street rat and roll it in your hand. It pierces your hand in 30 ways. Just kidding. Twisted prongs stick out from a rounded base. And Jill, here's a lockpick. That must be a reference I don't understand. I bet Wavehelm knows his days of playing the innocent child / beat him over the head trick are numbered. This is how he gets into retirement. He goes into retirement.
Only one of the prongs will fit into each lock. Once you've placed that prong inside the keyhole, you'll be able to move it certain ways. Each movement will make a specific sound. According to the locksmith, the lockpick will make a distinct sequence of 3 noises before the lock springs. He didn't tell me what that series of sounds was, but he said it would be the same for every lock.
That might be important. It might be useful if you, the master of unlocking, take it with you. Okay, so... only one of the prongs will fit into each lock. I'm assuming that means into any lock? Any given lock? And the lock will make a distinct sequence of 3 noises before the lock springs, and the sequence of noises is the same for every lock. Okay, well, I guess we can test it on the merchant door.
Tell me about the information.
I bought it from an ex-member of the Brotherhood. He claims that this parchment contains the codes to open the tower's treasure room. There's no way to verify it without actually getting inside the tower, so I had to buy it at face value. I don't really understand it anyway. I have no idea what the first line, "by their time to die," means. The second line is a list of continents above Skirvash that partially obscure the sun throughout the month. We can't see which one it is at this time of day because the sun is behind the tower. Overall, I don't know how to use this information, but it might come in handy.
The first line is "by their time to die." The second line is a list of continents above Skirvash that partially obscure the sun throughout the month. We can't see which one it is at this time of day because the sun is behind the tower. Okay,
What can you tell me about the wealthy merchant on the edge of town?
He was the most prominent and successful merchant in town until a couple of weeks ago. Then he just dropped out of sight. Rumor had it that he had a run-in with the Brotherhood. Maybe it had something to do with the stiff taxes the Brotherhood places on any transaction in Skirvash. I always thought that he'd be safe from the Brotherhood. He has a magic amulet that keeps him from harm, and he's never without it. That's about all I know, except I heard that he keeps a journal hidden away inside his house. I hope that helps, although I can't imagine how.
that seemed a little generous for our accomplice here.
Good work. Expensive, but good. I'll take it from here.
Thank you. I think you'll find that in the long run, it will be worth far more than what you paid.
All right, my young Ferengi. There are 2 lines of text on the inside. The first reads, "By their time to die." The second line reads, "Sharthia, Hestia, Shegra, Elandia, Aristagon." Perhaps it's an advertising flyer for the Brotherhood. Well, we know Ulandia is the continent where King Stephen is, and the other continents are just other continents, I guess. There it is. Oh, and there seems to be an implied correspondence between the words of the first line and those of the second line. And of course our lockpick. It's a strange-looking instrument with bulges and contours, whose purpose you can't identify. With what you paid for it, it had better be effective. Alright, thanks, kid. I love this emulator chugging through on those moments. Alright, let's try using this lockpick. In the lock. You gently slip the lockpick inside the heavy iron lock. After it slides solidly into place, you carefully examine the lock, trying to decide how to manipulate the lockpick to unlock the door. So we can remove, or we can jiggle, turn, or push. Alright, let's try turn. The lockpick produces a thunk. Okay, let's jiggle. Thunk, and then tick. And push. The lockpick produces a clack. You must have done something wrong. The lockpick failed to open the lock. You remove the lockpick and contemplate the situation. Thunk, tick, clack was wrong. Okay, let's go push. Clack. Jiggle. Tick. Turn. Thunk. Oh, we did it. Clack, tick, thunk. Alright. I've made note of it. The lockpick produces a thunk, the merchant's lock clicks, and the door cracks open. You pocket the lockpick with a sly grin. Of course, we're entitled to that. Are we going in? Ah. Excuse me. The house is all but empty. Its contents, save for a few spare items, have been taken away. That's probably what I would do. And we only have one way to go from here, and that is out. Fireplace. The fireplace is made of irregular but expertly fitted stone. A full-length mural hangs above a broad mantel. Poetry book. Yoink. All right. And a clock. Look at the clock. It's strange that the clock was left here when all the other furnishings were taken. Closer examination reveals that the clock is bolted to the mantel. Ah, this is a point-and-click game, isn't it? You also see that the only moving part is its one hand. It has no winding key, no gears or wheels, and therefore, as far as you can tell, no way to keep time. Quite an odd clock. Misty morn. Toil time. Mid-cycle. Nothing happens. Well, that seems to be some kind of a mechanism. How much more accurate do you need a clock to be? Okay. And a portrait. The full-length mural features a richly dressed young man, proudly displaying a glowing amulet. Well, that sounds like it could be a picture of the dude. And we do have a spell that can get us into portraits. One of the coolest features of this game, I think, but we also have something else we can do, which is read some poetry. Could this be Edward's secret journal? No, probably. What do you want to bet his name is Edward? All the people's names are always Edward. All right, let's read it. Love poems. Whoever made that cover's passion is to be a graphic designer. Welcome to Starfia Poetry Hour. Do you like my bookmark? It's very regal. Our reading begins. The wind. She lifts from the mist in the morn. She breathes the first air of the day. She flies towards the rise as she's born, but dies before she's away. When time comes for wine, she doth linger and trails her hand in the stream. She knows as it flows through her fingers, it is far deeper than it seems. Beware of the rare time she toils, she wears down mountains in her path. The friends she depends on are loyal, but all else should fear of her wrath. She sings of all things in her chorus, the rustle of leaves is her song. Betrayed by the shade of the forest, the time when dark falls sees her gone. Is that it? That's the whole book? The answer is teeth. Exactly. Excellent. Well, this does remind me of the clock, though, doesn't it? The misty morn. Wine time was a time on the clock. Toil time was on there too, and the time when dark falls sees her gone. And did you notice with the clock we were able to move it, I think 3 times? And this poem speaks of 4 times, so if this is a guide to that puzzle, then we can assume it starts on Misty Morn, which would also give us a clue as to which side of the text the hand needs to be on to indicate that time. We opened it to the bookmark, but it looks like we can go this way too. Oh. That just takes us to the beginning. So I guess the bookmark is maybe an indicator. All right. So what was it? Toil time, wine time? No. Misty morn, wine time, toil time, darkness. All right. Love poem. Exactly. Presumably there are other poems in there too. So Misty Morn, we're going to assume that we need to pick the indicator that is to the left or the counterclockwise side of the text we want. So to go to wine time, we need to go to there. All right. And then toil time, so we go here. And then dark time, we go to here. I know CPR! That's great. Where did that come from? That was the end for Steve. Oh, hello. One of the stones surrounding the fireplace pops open. Inside the compartment, you discover a leather-bound journal. 15 points. So, now that we have access to this leather-bound journal that was in this hidden compartment, no one's sure how this would help, but you know what I always say? Here, let me read it. And with that, I welcome you to Starfia Prose Hour. This cover looks even more designed than the poetry books. Any bookmarks here? Nope. All right, let's get cozy. First entry. I'm not used to keeping a journal, but my thoughts are in turmoil. And I have no one to talk with about them. I figure that by writing down my feelings, I might be able to sort through them. Put simply, I've met a woman. She is incredible. She's beautiful, rich, and well-bred. The perfect match for me. I saw her in the garden. She was sitting at the fountain looking over the flowers, and she said, in a melodious voice, "Everything here is so beautiful. I love it so much." She breathed heavily and pouted. She was so cute that I had to approach. I snuck up behind her and whispered, "How much?" She looked rather startled but recovered nicely, obviously recognizing me as the most successful merchant in the city. "The garden takes me away from my horrible life," she replied. "I love it more than anything, truth be told." "That was before you met me," I stated. She giggled, and at that moment I knew she was for me. "I've never met anyone that I reacted to so strongly. I must have her. Normally, women pursue me. I am the most successful merchant in the city, and the notoriety of my magic amulet is widespread. But I've never invested so much of myself in one woman. If she won't have me, I don't know what I'll do." More later. Doug says, "She is beautiful, rich, and well-bred." Lexi, he works fast. Got to in order to be the most successful merchant in the city. Now we're catching on. Who knew that the world's finest guides to dating were couched snugly within the pages of a video games book? 7th entry. That was a bit of an arbitrary skip. I guess we're just trying to scan it. "Every time I see her, I yearn to spend more and more time with her. We started meeting at the old stream, where I played when I was a child. It makes me so happy to show her my old haunts. Taking her across the stepping stones was an absolute joy. She would only walk across while holding my hand. She was terrified of getting her dress wet. Each step took her further away from the shore, and by the 5th, the last, she collapsed in my arms. I'll have to take her back here more often." Lexi, if only someone would sneak up behind me and whisper, "You think you like nature, but now you like me." Exactly. Thank you for validating this approach. 11th entry. Deirdre is beginning to open up to me. Her life, although not quite the horror story she believes it to be, has been hard. Her father died when she was young, and her mother remarried a cruel man who tries to control Deirdre's life. He doesn't care about her. He only thinks about her dowry, what she is worth. He wants only to preserve her value as a marriage object. She doesn't remember much about her real father. She does recall that he used to read her bedtime stories when she was very young. One especially caught her fancy, the bouncing beans. When I told her that I was read the same story long ago, she smiled so sweetly that it warmed my whole day. Her father, says Lexi. Whom else do we know with a dead father? Perhaps Deirdre is the waif in disguise? Oh yes. Yes, of course. That's his most brilliant trick. At least he's not just an imprisoned father. I must have her as my wife, regardless of her penny-pinching stepfather. He may ask for the world, but I will pay it. More later. So it's her stepfather who just thinks about the dowry. Sounds like he's willing to do it, though. There's more. 20th entry. Her stepfather has cloistered her away. It was obviously his plan to allow her to be with me just long enough to whet my interest. And now that the relationship has progressed, he has snatched her off and is demanding a wedding. I certainly don't mind the idea of a wedding. I made that decision long ago, but I do object to his keeping me away from her while he decides what the dowry will be. Undoubtedly, he is poring over financial records, trying to calculate how much he can safely gouge out of me. All I can do is wait. I insist that you sign off of every stream with more later. Yes, thank you so much, Lexi. You are, after all, in a position to make demands. 21st entry. Oh, just the very next one. I guess we wanted to see what happened next. This waiting is driving me mad. I can't concentrate on my business. I'm useless for any task. I've repeatedly asked her stepfather if he has come to a decision, and each time he sends me away without an answer. The last time he bellowed that he would send a messenger when his decision was made, and that I should stop bothering him in the meantime. So what can I do? I wait, and I wait. 22nd entry. Since I cannot do my job, I've decided to commission a portrait. If only to use up some time while I await the messenger. Naturally, I've hired Leonard Bogash. His reputation for excellence is widespread throughout the realms. He is due to arrive in the next few days. 23rd entry. The portrait goes well. Leonard has lived up to his reputation. However, the endless hours of sitting do not take my mind off of my prospective bride. Instead, the modeling just gives me more time to dwell on missing her. I expect the messenger any day now. According to her stepfather, I am to give the dowry directly to the messenger. Only after he delivers it will I see my darling Deirdre again. I argued about handing over what I expected to be a fortune to a stranger. So we agreed that the messenger would identify himself with a few facts that only my fiancé and I know. And again, I would have agreed to anything to hurry the old coot up. 24th entry. The painting is done, and still the messenger hasn't arrived. I wonder if that man realizes the pain he is putting me through, or if he even cares. Lexi, theory, Dee Dee is dead and stepdad is desperately trying to find out how to get the dowry anyway. Right. Doug, thanks. Folds arms. Was that really? Is that your conglomeration of fiancé and facts? Or are you saying that that's what I said? No, it wasn't. Oh, I see. I'm just saying it like stonks. 25th entry. The messenger has finally arrived after confirming his identity. I gratefully handed over the obscene sum that Deirdre's stepfather demanded. It will take quite a few years to regain that amount, but any amount would be worth it to end my torment. Deirdre is due here at any time, so I must end this. Well, that's ominous. Good lord. 72nd entry. It's been a while. I have finally confronted the Brotherhood about the unfair taxes which they levy against this town. They act as if they own Skirvash. They've been a thorn in my side ever since I arrived here. Thus far, I've given them no reason for taking action against me. But now I'm a little worried that I have provoked them with my talk about unfair taxes. I can only hope that my amulet will keep them at bay. That really is quite a catch-all amulet. 73rd entry. I'm certain of it now. They are after me. I replaced the lock on my door with the best I could find, but it didn't stop last night's intruder. If not for my amulet, I'd be dead. I'm getting out of here. Sooner or later, they're going to figure out how to neutralize my magic. When they do, I'm done for. I'm packing up everything I can carry, and I'll be out of here tomorrow. God. So someone did get through the lock, or did they find another way in? And he's going to leave. So either he's still here, or it's been one day since this entry was written. But he left his journal. Interesting. How are you going to skip over the Deirdre story, Haplo? Yes, exactly. And that's the journal. You close the book and replace it in your inventory. Well, there's no sign of him, but we still do have one other course of action available to us. Enter yon painting. it goes. You form the spell in the air, the glowing lines float over to the mural and sink into the surface. An uneven circle like a hole in the painting pulls back from the center to the frame, leaving something like a doorway into the scene. A figure stands uncomfortably in the center of an artist's studio. Alright, let's go in. You climb onto the mantle and into the painting. You find yourself standing in the artist's studio, facing a young man awkwardly holding himself in a stiff pose.
Hello, my good man. Have you seen the artist? I'm getting very tired of standing in this position.
It rather looks like the amulet could be taken, even though it's clearly part of a static image. It's a bit meta. Wow. My impression wasn't so bad, was it?
No, I haven't seen him.
Well, I'm not sure how long I can keep this up. I'm only doing this in order to fill time anyway. Who are you, by the way?
We have a lot of options here. I'm just a traveler. I'm here to kill you and take your amulet, sir. I'm a jewelry salesman. Can I interest you in an amulet? In trade for the one you have, of course. That's not bad. I'm a collector. I've heard about your amulet, and I was wondering if you'd be willing to part with it. That's a bit straightforward. I'm a messenger from your wife-to-be. She sent me with the dowry information you've been waiting for. That seems like it might be a strategy. Why are you trying to fill time? Let's go with the messenger angle.
I'm a messenger from your wife-to-be. She sent me with the dowry information you've been waiting for.
Oh? What does my little doe want?
Well, if he only needs to part with his amulet and not his money, we do have the leverage to make demands.
It's quite simple. She wants your magic amulet.
She wants my amulet? My most prized possession? I don't believe it. How do I know you aren't lying?
Because this is such a serious subject, I wouldn't lie about something like this. Let's go with flattery.
Do you think I would be so stupid as to try to lie to such an obviously intelligent and perceptive man?
Well, yes, of course. However, I must verify this information, as I'm sure you understand. I can't just give away something this valuable to someone who claims to be a messenger from my fiancée. The person she was to send was supposed to know some very personal facts about her, things no one besides me would know. If you can answer these questions, I'll believe you are who you say. First, can you tell me what her favorite bedtime story was?
And this is why we read. The other titles are kind of nice, though. The Hateful Hat.
The Bouncing Beans?
Interesting. Now, tell me this. How many stepping stones were there over the old creek where we used to meet?
Were you paying attention, audience?
5?
There's only one more. What did I whisper to my lady the first time we met?
Prove yourself, Lexi. We're waiting. Tick-tock. There we go.
How much?
That's correct. You've answered all of my questions. I have no choice but to believe that you are who you claim to be. As I have told my lady, I would give up anything to be with her. She obviously wishes to test this promise by asking for my most prized possession. I will give it to you in hopes that she will realize that my love for her surpasses any material item.
He sighs heavily as he removes the amulet from around his neck and hands it to you. You bow and walk away out of the painting and back into the house. Done and done. After you leave the portrait, the spell wears off and the portal closes, and the amulet starts to glow. It wasn't doing that before. Lexi, I'm blushing just to type it, yes. If only a man would love me so much as to question my love for nature and place himself above it in my heart. You drape the amulet around your neck, you feel much safer. Excellent. Are we going to need to hand this off to the hand? Oh, was it? I missed that the amulet was gone from the painting. And you didn't even need to kill nobody, says Doug. Very perceptive. I hope he and Dee Dee get together. I don't know if Portrait He will get together with Portrait D, because she doesn't really exist. He's kind of frozen there, isn't he? But the real dude obviously did, and he seemed to have fled. At least there's no sign of him that we found. Hello there. The tavern isn't yours to give.
Yes. Is there something else?
I have the amulet. Here it is.
I didn't think you could do it. Now I have no doubts that you're perfect for the Brotherhood. Come with me.
Seems a lot of people underestimate us. I hope they're in Jamaica having a good time. Yeah, they probably had a very clear and available route to Jamaica. Hugh strides to the door with you tagging behind. He leads you up to the front of the tower, with motions too quick to follow, rendered in the blink of an eye. He has opened a concealed door. He ducks inside and motions you to follow.
This is the Tower of the Brotherhood, my friend. You'll come to know it well. To the right is the storeroom where we keep the key crystals. You'll learn more about those after you've joined. In front is the legendary treasure room, and to the left is the initiation room. It is here that we go.
The key crystals, we do know a little bit about that room already. It just so happens. And I don't think that the Brotherhood knows that we know. Lexi, there's only 2 women in this town. One was Dee and she's married and gone. The other is the arm of the Brotherhood. Perhaps. Unless the waif is indeed Deirdre, in disguise. Or perhaps the barkeep, the famous barkeep, had to, buff up a little, shall we say? So apparently we're going to the initiation room. Also, there's that panel with all the gemstone hands that we heard about.
I noticed that you've taken a beating recently. This healing salve should help. A good assassin is never without it. Wait here. I will be back in an hour or so to proceed with the initiation. Try not to think about the pain involved.
He walks out grinning evilly. Well, we do have some healing salve, though. Aw, Buff Lady Barkeep, yes. That's a bit of a Lure of the Temptress reference, isn't it? Well, we got a shutter. Window is too high up in the wall. The shutter is out of reach. Can we pry open the shutter? No. Could we push the table? No, we don't want to read the poetry book. Thank you, though. Well, that worked. You climb onto the stained table and flip open the shuttered window. The sun bursts through the opening, somewhat obscured by the distinct shape of the floating continent of Hestia. That was one of the continents on our paper. I mean, all Buff Lady Barkeeps are likable. No, not poetry. Okay, so there is Hestia. The word there. So the book on the Brotherhood told us that the continents, or the time of the month, had something to do with what the combination was with the gemstone hands. So maybe it'll be something like Hestia indicates there. Like T-H-E-I-R, we need to spell there. There! Not that there, Wesley. Spell the word there with the gemstones, maybe? Okay. And what are we really looking for here? We're looking for documentation on the Kixie Winsey. That's really all we want, isn't it? Although we did agree to give the waif some of the treasure. The tower walls rise out of sight. On them you see a door to each side and a multicolored fresco ahead. Wow, the walls rise out of sight? That's cool. Diamond Hand, U Hand, Umber Hand, Hyacinth Hand, It's an Opal Hand, Topaz Hand, Iron, Ruby, Marble. Okay. Can we spell the word there with this? Can we spell the other ones, though? Yeah, buy their time to die. You can spell all those things with these hands, can't you? This is a lot better than the open puzzle from Kyrandia. And way better than the gemstone puzzle. You can't select the candles. I'm not sure if we should try to do this first or go in here first. Seems like we're in a dangerous place. Lexi says, oh, those hands are nice. We did something like that in my elementary school cafeteria, only it was paint and not gems. Yeah. Okay, let's go in. Let's look at it. The oak door to the right is closed and locked by a metal monstrosity, of which you've never seen the like. Until the door is unlocked, you're not going through. Oh. Oh. Unlocked, eh? Let me pull up my notes. Clack, tick, thunk. Should we try and unlock it? No, don't read the journal. I don't like prose any more than poetry, at least not right now. All right. 4 things we can do this time. Clack, tick, thunk. We got clack. So, I forget what I did to do that. Was it turn? Whatever it was right. Not tilt, twist, or pull. Let's tilt. Darn. That's wrong. Let's give it another go. Hopefully there are no security cameras in here. Okay, shake was first, and that was right. Next, let's go for pull. It's a 1 in 2 chance. And thunk was what we did by tilting it, right? So in case something is changed by that last motion, this should work. Here goes. Yes. The lock clicks and the door cracks open. You pocket the lockpick with a sly grin. Okay. Let's see if we can spell the word there. T. H. E-I-R, right? Oh my god, why am I forgetting the spelling of there? This is not the time for that to happen. It's like semantic saturation symptom. Iron. And ruby. Come on. Yep. The ruby hand slides into the wall and then pops out again. You hear a quiet rumble, like hidden gears turning. Slowly the wall splits and swings open to reveal a hidden chamber beyond. So that, I'm gonna say this could be the chamber where things are stored in the otherware. And we probably shouldn't go in there before we have the key crystals. And I'm gonna say the storage room is not the otherware linked room. Looks like we can go south too. I guess we can exit the tower. Interesting. Oh, hello. Light radiates from a huge gem in the ceiling onto a stone statue. Is that like beneath the Kyra gem chamber? Of a woman wearing a green crystal necklace. So maybe those are the key crystals. And there's a field. Look at the field. The field of light is definitely magical. It glows the same eerie red hue as the gem above. Look at the statue. The statue is exquisitely carved. Is the exquisitely carved form of a beautiful woman. A green crystal necklace is draped over her shoulders. She stands in a field of light produced by a huge gem set into the ceiling. Okay. I feel the need to be very careful about everything in this area. Let's see if we can use Identify spell on the field. The Killing Field was created to destroy anything organic that comes within contact. Then Gino takes some field. That one was obligatory. Alright. Well, why don't we try using some magic on the statue? And this one's pedestal isn't very tall. Maybe it can be affected by motion. Presumably the right way to get in there is to deactivate the field. But since we don't seem to have a way to do that, yep. You trace the lines of the spell into the air. Magic envelops the statue. For a few moments, nothing seems to happen. Suddenly, the still form quivers. Stone legs, never intended to walk, uproot themselves. The statue begins to move jerkily toward you. With every step, it breaks apart. Stone fragments fall away from newly made joints. As soon as it has made its way outside of the glowing field, it collapses in a heap. The crystal necklace remains on the statue's neck, but safely outside the killing field. Yoink. Six long green crystals. Can we identify them too? I don't know if we have a time limit here before the initiation begins. So we shouldn't dawdle too much. The necklace itself is not magical, but is used to short-circuit another spell. When it is placed upon the pedestal inside the Brotherhood's treasure room, it breaks the spell that keeps the treasure banished in the otherwhere. Yep. Interesting that the Identify spell was able to tell us that about the necklace, even though the necklace wasn't magical. It's kind of breaking its own rules, don't you think? Alright, let's pillage. For a treasure room, this chamber is surprisingly bare. Its only distinguishing feature is the platform in the center. Step onto the wide platform to get a better view of the entire room. So the platform in the center, I think, is the safe area, right? And we have stepped onto it. Makes sense? Alright. This is nice music. Surprised I think that. Let's interrupt a spell. You lay the crystal necklace on the pedestal into the indentations that frame the flattened top. Light erupts from the pedestal and soon envelops the entire chamber. When your eyesight is cleared, you notice that the room is filled with treasure, coins, and gems, of course, but also ancient artifacts of inestimable value. Now we're talking. Alright. I imagine we don't have too much time here. Book of Prion. Yoink. Step off the platform, grab the leather-bound book, and return to your perch. A handbook. Okay. We do want information, primarily. Take all the books. Exactly. Crystal globe, sure. Uh-oh, we didn't get to check for anything else. On your way back, you slip on some loose gems lying on the floor. You fall headfirst onto the hard surface of the platform. The impact stirs an involuntary yelp of pain. Not so good. The noise echoes out the opening in the wall down the tower's main hall. Before you can get to your feet, a guard comes bursting into the chamber led by Hugh himself.
I like you. You're a thief after my own heart. Unfortunately, we can't suffer someone who's tried to steal from the Brotherhood to live. I'll try to make this as painless as possible.
He draws out a wicked-looking dirk and advances toward the platform. Great. Nothing else here we can take. There's Hugh. There's guard. Yeah. We could try to attack him. We could run for the door. But since we are on the platform, and the necklace is within range, I don't know, what say we get ourselves an additional souvenir? You snatch the key crystals from the pedestal. This causes the contents of the room to be transported back into the space between realities. Fortunately for you, this doesn't include the person standing on the platform. Cast Kill Him. Unfortunately for Hugh and the guard, this happens to include them. Wearing expressions of disbelief, they fade away along with the remainder of the treasure. Goodbye, guys. I love how go through is THRU. All right. The tower walls, blah, blah, blah. I think we've done all we can here. What we needed was the crystals. Got a globe. This is a perfect hollow globe forged from flawless crystal. Undoubtedly, its worth is incalculable for its craftsmanship alone. However, it is also a Sartan relic as well. Good to know. And we have the necklace. Unfortunately, that's all we got. We're not about to touch this field. I'd say it's time to get out of here.
I can't believe it! You got out of the tower alive! No thief has ever survived!
And books.
We've got to get out of here. Skirvash isn't safe for either of us. The Brotherhood rules this city, and they'll kill us when they find us.
All right. I'm good with that plan. You race back to the elven ship with the street rat in tow. King Stephen's troop captain hauls up the rope ladder as you climb aboard. A few hand signals from the captain send the crew scurrying, and shortly the ship lifts off. Makes sense. Looks like we're heading back to Drevlin. That's not a crash landing, is it? After a quick flight, the ship touches back down on Drevlin. The street rat approaches you. I'm not hearing any dialogue. I've decided to stay on board until we reach the Volcarian Isles, where Stephen rules. I think I can live much better in human lands. He flashes an evil smile and grabs the lockpick and the pry bar from you. I'll need these to get started. You understand, I'm sure. Well, I guess since we didn't need to give him any treasure, if he's happy with just those items, then I suppose we can deal with it. Lexi says, we've got to get out of the city. I kind of pretended to be a beautiful, well-bred woman and agreed to marry someone, ... I suppose you wouldn't want to linger in that situation either. Smiling, you climb down the ladder and wander into the Dwarven Caverns. From that vantage, you watch the ship depart into the stormy sky. You take inventory of your possessions and note that the rat has also lifted the necklace of key crystals. Oh, so he did want treasure. All right. Well, we have completed the Brotherhood's quest. And that brings us back to Drevlin. Slightly richer and quite a bit wiser.